Hello students, welcome back to our YouTube channel St. Wilfred College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Panvel. Today's my lecture topic is heterocyclic compound purine. For that, first we are going to see our content. In that, this lecture, the topic which we are going to discuss in today's lecture, the content are first, introduction of purine, second, structure of purine, third, reactions of purine, fourth, synthesis of purine, fifth, physical and chemical properties of purine. In first introduction of purine, we are going to see about the scientist who has discovered purine, in which year it was synthesized. After that, we are going to discuss about structure of purine. In that, we have to see which heteroatom is present in purine, which type of ring it will be. After that, in third, we are going to discuss about reactions of purine, which type of reaction it gives. After that, we will see about synthesis, how purine is prepared. Okay, in last, we are going to discuss about its physical properties. It may contain boiling point, melting point, its color, nature. After that, its chemical properties. Okay, so let's start with the introduction of heterocyclic compound. Okay, first it is the introduction of purine, but for that we need to know what is heterocyclic compound. As we all know, what is the heterocyclic compound? It is nothing but an cyclic or a ring compound which contain at least one atom other than the carbon atom, such as nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, selenium, phosphorus, silicon, boron, and arsenic. These all are the member of a ring which is known as a heterocycle or a heterocyclic compound. And the atom which is other than the carbon atom are known as a heterocyclic compound. After that, we are going to start with introduction of a purine. Purine, it is one heterocyclic compound, right? It was named by a German chemist whose name was Emil Fischer. He has found out that purine in 1884. After that, he synthesized it in 1898. The starting material for the reaction sequence is a uric acid. He has prepared this purine with uric acid. Uric acid was its first reactant. Okay, let's see the reaction. In reaction, we are able to see that the reactant is a uric acid. Okay, after reaction we will get a purine, but for that we need to add some reagent in that. Okay, so first, uric acid is reacted with PCl5, right? When we are going to react it with PCl5, all the carbonyl group will remove and addition of a Cl group, chlorine atom, will be added. Okay, if you are able to see in the second structure, chlorine atom is added on the position of a carbonyl group. Okay, that oxygen is removed. After that, next reagent, that is Hi, hydrogen iodide, and PH4i. What will happen? HCl will remove. After that, PH4Cl will remove, and that iodine which is present in Hi and PH4i, it is substituted on the position of a chlorine. Where chlorine was present, right now there will be a iodine. Okay, in third structure, we are able to see there are two iodine group. The three chlorine group was removed, and two iodine group are added on that position. After that, our reaction will proceed with the zinc dust. We are going to add zinc dust. Zinc dust is a reducing compound. It will reduce the compound. After reduction, what will happen? The two iodide group which was present in structure 3, right? These two iodide group, it will remove, and we will get our final product which is a purine. So we are able to see this is nothing but a synthesis of a purine. How purine was prepared? With the help of a uric acid. First, what he had did, uric acid was reacted with PCl5. It gives us a 2,6,8 trichloropurine. After that, which was converted with Hi and PH4i to give 2,6-diiodopurine. Okay, this product is reduced with zinc dust to give us our final product which is a purine. After that, next one is the structure of purine. Okay, first Purine, we all know that it is an heterocyclic compound. There are 4 heteroatoms. If you are able to see, there are 4 heteroatoms, which is nitrogen, right? It is an aromatic ring. After that, it contains 2 ring structure. If you are able to see, first one is your 6-member ring and second one is your 5-member ring. Okay, so this 6-member ring, it is an pyrimidine structure, and the 5-member ring, it is an imidazole ring. Okay, so we can say that purine is nothing but an fused ring of pyrimidine and imidazole. Okay, we will see the numbering. We have to start that numbering from this nitrogen atom. 1 number for this nitrogen, second for the carbon. After that nitrogen, again 4 number will be your breach carbon atom, 5 number will be your second breach carbon atom. After that 6 number, 7, 8 and 9. This one is the this one is your purine structure, which is an one heterocyclic compound. After that, let's see, there are many naturally occurring purines and include nucleobases, adenine and guanine. Okay, right now you are able to see there are so many structures which are nothing but a derivative of a purine. In that, first one is a purine. First structure is of a purine. Okay, after that, second one, it is a structure of a adenine. The only change is that one amino group is there, amine group is there. Okay, NH2 group is there on the carbon position. Okay, if there is one amino group present, then it is an adenine. After that, let's see about the guanine. In guanine, there is one carbonyl group present and one amine group is present. Okay, in hypoxanthine, there is only one carbonyl group is present. Okay, after that, in xanthine, what happened? There are 2 carbonyl group. Okay, next, theobromine. In theobromine, we are able to see there are 2 carbonyl groups which are present and the nitrogen atoms are substituted. After that, in caffeine, there are 2 um, carbonyl groups are there and the 3 nitrogen atoms are substituted. After that, uric acid. In uric acid, there are 3 carbonyl groups are present. Okay, and last one is a isoguanine. In isoguanine, there is a amino group and carbonyl group which is present at a carbon atom. Okay, so these are the derivatives of purines. These are some structure of them. After that, we will move further with reactions of purine. Okay, in that first we are going to see alkylation at nitrogen. First of all, what is means of alkylation? Alkylation is nothing but an addition of a alkyl group, and in the name we are going to see alkylation at nitrogen means that alkyl group is going to add or is going to react, is going to make up a bond with nitrogen atom of a purine. Okay, first see, the purine complex can take place on an anion. After that, purine reacts with iodomethane to give 7,9-dimethyl purinium salt. Okay, let's see about reaction. First reactant is our purine, right? We are going to add MEI, that is methyl iodide. After that, we are adding one solvent, which is methyl alcohol, and this reaction will take place at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, first see what is our reactant, which is a purine, and we have reagent, that is MEI. MEI means methyl iodide. Okay, if we do ionization of this MEI, we will get a product Me plus I minus. Okay, so Me plus is plus means it is an electrophile. Okay, it is an positively charged component. So of course it will attack on the negatively charged component. Which one is a negative? That is nitrogen. Okay, so that Me plus means methyl positive ion is going to attack on the nitrogen atom, which is an negatively charged compound. It has always one electron pair on that, so Me will attack on that nitrogen atom and we will get one salt type of structure. If you are able to see, there are N plus Me. Okay, why that plus? Because of bonds. If you are able to see, nitrogen's valency is 3. It can only bound with 3 bonds, but here it is bounded with the 4 bonds, so it possesses a positive charge and it gives us a structure which is a 7,9-dimethyl purinium salt. Okay, that's what that one was a alkylation of nitrogen. Addition of one alkyl group has take place. After that, next one is a halogenation reaction. Halogenation reaction means what? Addition of a halogen group. There are 4 halogen: chlorine, bromine, iodine, and fluorine. Right now we are going to see that reaction. First, purine simply form N plus halogen complex but does not undergo C substitution. If we are talking about purine, okay. If we are talking about purine, then purine halogenation will take place at a nitrogen position. Halogenation means that halogen will added on that nitrogen, not on carbon. Okay. But in adenine and xanthine, if we talk about its derivative, that is adenine and xanthine, the derivative undergo halogenation at a C8 carbon. Okay. The 8 number of carbon, the halogen will attach, or the halogen will attack on the uh, 8 number of carbon. It will not attack on the nitrogen, but in purine the halogenation take place at a nitrogen. Okay. Adenine and xanthine, halogenation will take place at the carbon 8. After that, the substitutions arise via n halopurinium salt. After that, nucleophilic addition of bromide ion to this C8, then elimination of compound, and finally we will get our product. Okay, let's see. First, there is, we are going to take one compound which is a adenine Br2. We are going to add bromine water in that. After that, our solvent is a NaOAC, which is an aqueous solvent. The reaction will take place at a room temperature, and the product we will get, which will be a 75%. After that, we are added Br2, right? As we said that in adenine and xanthine, the halogenation will take place at the carbon 8 position, right? So the Br atom, which is a halogen, it will going to react or attack on the 8th position of bromine. So finally we will get this product. Okay. After that, second reaction. Let's see in second reaction. Again we are taking the second structure. In that we are going to add bromine water. Again, as we say that adenine and xanthine, halogenation will take place at the 8th number of position. So finally our product will get, we will get our product, which is a halogenated compound. Okay. In the second reaction, we are using HCOH as a solvent, and the reaction will take place at 100 degrees Celsius. This was all about halogenation reaction. Just one thing that we need to remember, that is purine halogenation will take place at a nitrogen, and in adenine and xanthine, the halogenation will take place at the carbon, which at 8th position. Okay. Next one is Trobe synthesis of purine. Okay, let's see about Trobe synthesis of purine. First, the unsubstituted purine heating with 4,5-diaminopyrimidine with formic acid to give purine. It is nothing but a synthesis of purine. Okay, how we are going to synthesize that purine? Okay, there are 2 reactions they had given. First, in presence of a HC double bond OH, that is formic acid, and in second it is in presence of a Ac2O, that is acetic anhydride. Okay, every time we will get another product. Okay, different product we are going to get. Okay, so first reaction dekho, in first reaction we are taking reactant which is 4,5-diaminopyrimidine. Okay, when we are going to heat that compound in presence of a formic acid, we will get one product in content amino group. One amino group will be there. Okay. And second, in if we heat this compound in presence of acetic anhydride, we will get methyl substituted purine. If you are able to see, then there is one methyl compound which is attached to the 8 number of carbon atom. Okay. So we will get 8 methyl 9H purine. Okay, so we will get 2 different products in 2 different reagent. If our reagent is formic acid, then we will get different product, and if it is acetic anhydride, we will get methyl substituted product. Okay. Next reaction, substituted imidazole with formaldehyde to give substituted purine at pyrimidine ring. Okay, let's see the reaction. What happened? Our reactant is 3-methyl 5-amino imidazole 4-carbonitrile. Okay, carbonitrile compound लिया है हमने. After that we are adding amide in that, that is C double bond ONH2. we are going to heat it, we will get our purine compound, which is a substituted purine. One methyl group is substituted at nitrogen. Next. Next, nothing but is your physical and chemical properties of purine. Purines, as we know, these are the colorless crystalline compound. The structure is, their nature is nothing but they are colorless compound, which is a crystalline. After that, it is soluble in water. These are water soluble component. After that, its melting point is 216 degrees Celsius and boiling point is 265 degrees Celsius. Okay. Purine is a weak base as well as a weak acid. After that, adenine is soluble in water. Guanine is soluble in most organic solvent. If you are able to see, then adenine is water soluble and guanine is organic soluble, means organic solvent soluble hai. That means the adenine is an ionic compound and guanine is organic compound. As we know that only ionic compound can soluble in water and only organic compound can soluble in organic solvent. So that means adenine is soluble in water and guanine is soluble in organic solvent only. That means guanine is an organic compound. After that, aromaticity is a chemical property of purine, means that purine is aromatic in nature. Thank you.